Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Talking Productions. Fluf here, coming back at you with another deck profile. But before we get into that, I wanted to say that Bancroft sucks because he's basically like this Vegeta who's embarrassed to be around his friends. Like, subscribe, all that other stuff. You know, we're begging you to like our channel and pay attention to us. Today, we're looking at the SS2 Trunks Envoy of Justice. So this leader came out set 10. It's pretty interesting. Saw one good top here in the last month and a half, 2 months ago. I can't remember. So it kind of inspired me to look at this deck, see what we could do with it, and go from there. So first off, talking about the leader. This leader is actually pretty weird because it's one of the only leaders in the game that is pretty much immune to crit. So his basic permanent on front and back sides is during your opponent's turn, if you would add a card from life to either hand or drop area, you may reveal the card to add it to your hand instead, which turns on a lot of the cards within the deck. So if your opponent is a crit-heavy deck, don't worry. You get to keep your cards, and they get to do stuff for you. As always, when the leader attacks, you get to draw one, 4 or less, Hybrid Awaken. On the backside, we get a little bit more interesting, but not by much. We still get the draw on swing. Then we get an Activate main for 2 energy. You get to pick one of your opponent's battle cards and put it at the bottom of the owner's deck. And then at the end of the turn, you get to restand 1 energy. It doesn't come up a ton, but it is useful for getting rid of certain problematic cards that you're going to face throughout the duel. And it really sucks if your opponent tries to, your opponent knows that you're going to advantage big by dealing life to you. So they may try to slow roll you to a point where the game gets a little bit more challenging or back and forth. So keep that in mind, but having this ability on the once per turn can just get rid of certain problem cards. So that's the leader. Going to move this to the side. We're going to put it over Bancroft's stupid face. And then on to...
I think Bancroft's cool enough to be Vegeta.
You don't think so?
No.
Is he the doorknob?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, so he's a doorknob.
Yeah.
Then we've got the Unisons. So we're playing Baby, the Unknown Parasite. This with the SS4 Goku are probably my 2 favorite Unisons in the game. I don't know what the hell Bandai was thinking, putting a +2 on a 15k body Unison at any point. But, you know, +2, draw 1. There's nothing good, or there's nothing bad about that effect. And then on the -5, you choose your leader. It gets 15,000. Then it gets double strike. And then you can also activate counters from your hand without paying its cost by discarding 2 cards. There's nothing bad about that card. It either becomes a swing target for your opponent to keep you from activating that -5, or you get to activate the -5 and make your opponent make terrible decisions over the course of their turn and your turn. So, Unison's super good. We run that at a 4 of. Want to get it out as soon as we can. Then our other Unison, I mentioned it already, but the SS4 Son Goku, Protector of the Earth. We get to modulate our energy a little bit in this deck. So by turn 3, we could potentially be up to 5 energy, where we could put this guy out to basically slow our opponent down with its top effect of... You know, they have to bottom deck an energy cost 2 of more battle card. And then on the -2, we get to choose all battle cards on the field, send them back to the hand. So it basically makes your opponent start over. I will say this kind of sucks against, you know, the current format is evolving to this point where Arrival is starting to come back. EX Evolves are coming back when we look at, like, the Bardock crew, Vegeta, you know, Bread Brawly doesn't really care if you send their stuff back because they get to start their chain back over and rip more cards out of your hand. So this isn't always super good, but it is good in a lot of the times. And oftentimes just playing this for that bottom a 2 or less on the field to attack with a battle card is enough to buy you a turn and to make your opponent give up valuable resources or make roundabout way plays that just might make them lose the game long term by overextending their energy or wasting battle cards. The -1's not bad either. Draw 2, bottom deck a card. Then moving into kind of the intended set 10 Trunks engine, we start with the Trunks Power to Save the Future, blocker 4,001 energy. The main reason that we play this is because it lets us take 2 mono blue cards from our hand, place them face up in our life, and then we get to pick 2 of our life up. So if we don't know where a Goku, Vegeta, or Trunks are in our life, we can place them in our hand into our life. It kind of flags to the opponent what we're going to do and might make them play weird if they don't want us to ramp our energy for the turn. So we can use this to set up our life. I've done things like put 2 of the championship pack Trunks in life. that bounce 2 cards when they're played that are 20k blockers. I've put 2 of those up, which really keeps the opponent from trying to deal damage. And you can keep those till critical points in the game where your opponent tries to overextend, swarm the field, and then bounce their field back to their hand and then go in for game the following turn, plus providing you with 2 blockers on the field. So this card is fantastic. I love this card. Probably one of the better cards that came out of the Battle Evolution, Battle Enhanced expansion packs that came out. So love this card. We played it at 4. It's generally our turn 1, turn 2 play if we can find it. Then moving into the life package, as we'll call it, we've got Super Saiyan Blue Goku Hope for Victory and Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta Blaze of Passion. So these are essentially the same card. One's Goku, one's Vegeta. Couldn't make it any more obvious. If they are added from your life if they're added from your life when you reveal them, you get to charge them to your energy and then draw 1. So essentially we can use these to ramp our energy if they've been taken from life. And then they also leave the energy at the end of your next turn. So we can use these to Union Potara. We can use them to pay energy to put bigger cards on the field than we typically would have otherwise been able to play. There's just, it opens up a lot. And it does a lot of weird stuff where you'll start at 1 energy, then go to 2, then go to 4, then go to 3, then go to 2, or 4, then go to 6, then go to 5. Like, your energy just kind of modulates back and forth, which is really good, and it makes your turn-to-turn progression pretty unpredictable, and it makes it hard for your opponent to know exactly where you're going in your next turn. So we run 4 and 4 of those because we want to see it. We want to get the ramp from our energy at least 3 or 4 times, I would say. So as much of those as possible, otherwise they become good charge targets. Then kind of the last piece that plays out of our life, Trunks, the Never-Ending Justice. So this is the card that I was talking about. When this card is in your life and it's added to your hand after being revealed, or it's revealed from your life to either be added to your hand or drop area, you get to charge it to, or you get to play it and then choose 2 of your opponent's cards, send them back to the hand. Then we have a 15,000 blocker. I think I said it was 20 earlier, but it is a 15. So these are not always live. They're not always great. Like I said earlier, Arrival is a big thing that's coming back when we look at dual color, tricolor launch. There's a couple other decks right now that play pretty Arrival heavy. So we don't want to send cards back all that often. And I would say it's probably the main crux of this deck is not being good at that battle interruption. Because, you send cards back to the hand, then they could just Arrival them and get the effects off again. So that's not always good, but 2 of these, they do come up. They are useful. I just wouldn't play any more than 2 because otherwise they're 4 to play. Then kind of moving into the Vegito package, I played 2 of the SS Blue Vegito Soaring Blows. This could be more, but the fact that it doesn't have Deflect, doesn't have Barrier, leaves it a little bit vulnerable if you aren't going to go up into the 8-drop Vegito after this. But if you have 4 more energy, you can use cards in your energy for this card's Union Potara effect, or you could use cards on the field, your choice. It makes it a lot easier to meet the Union Potara requirement. Then when he's played, you choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards and place them at the bottom of the owner's deck. I really like this removal, and because of that type of removal, I want to play more of this card in the deck, but not running Barrier, not running Deflect makes it vulnerable in a lot of ways. So I'll talk in the end about things that I want to change about the deck moving forward, but this card overperformed. Every time I saw it, I wanted to play it. Every time I saw the other one, I didn't want to play it. Speaking of the other one, we've got Vegito Infinite Radiance. This guy's slightly bigger on the body. He's a 25,000, but he is Deflect Barrier, and he has no effect other than you can use him from... You can union from your energy if you have 4 more energy. So he's just a vanilla, essentially, that is hard for your opponent to get rid of. But there are plenty of things in the meta right now that ignore Barrier. Red has a ton of stuff that can be problematic for this to go off. Like if you're looking at Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken or Cooler, these can be problematic for keeping these guys on the field for the next turn to go into the 8-drop. So I think ultimately I might consider going up more on the SS Blue Vegeta Soaring Blow because I like the removal style of that more than I like the defense of this. It makes this, a removal, and then if they counterplay it or kill it, I at least got the removal off, which will extend my game state more. So that's kind of where I'm thinking there. Then kind of the capstone is going to be SS Blue Vegito Paralyzing Presence. It's an EX evolve from a Vegito with an energy cost of 5. So we can use Vegito Infinite Radiance or SS Blue Vegito Soaring Strike. He is a 35,000 triple strike, and when he swings or when he's played, your opponent has to place 2 cards from their hand at the bottom of their deck in any order, which is really good if you're running a long grindy game and resources are becoming slim. So you can play him, your opponent drops 2, swing 35,000 triple, they drop another 2. It's really good. The only thing that I wish is maybe that you drew on the EX Evolve here, but honestly, the deck draws a ton. So even then, that's just kind of a nitpicky thing. He has deflect barriers, so it's hard for your opponent to deal with him once he's on the field or respond to him coming in. So 3 of those. Then super combos, we run 4 Vegetas because we like to control the cards that are in our hand. We like the quality option more than anything else. The deck draws a ton already as is, and this is one of the reasons. And plus, you'll oftentimes at various states have cards in your hand that you don't need, that aren't doing anything for you, and you can just put it on the bottom, draw 2, and hopefully find a solution for the situation that you're in. So 4 of the Vegeta. Then kind of like my new favorite tech in Blue Sand Leaders is the Bardock from Draft Box 6. So it's an EX evolve for 2 energy, but you can use a Bardock in your energy if you have one in there. And then if he's evolved from energy, he gets played in active mode, you draw a card. Then at the end of the turn, you get to charge a card from the top of your deck into your energy, and you get to restand him. He's a double strike blocker. Super good. Your opponent oftentimes won't expect it. You can play it when you catch them vulnerable. And then oftentimes it's just kind of nice to make them to bait their negates or to bait their removal so they're not messing with other essential things that you have on the field. But this deck draws enough that I've seen all 4 within a game multiple times. So super good. Love this card. Think it's fantastic. If you haven't messed around with it, it's honestly fantastic. Then kind of moving into the negates, I do run 3 of these Son Goku and Vegeta Saiyan Synergy. This could be lower. This could be higher. The thing that I like about this deck is that it's a fantastic Union Potara target with the Vegitos, the 5-drops, because their energies don't have to match as long as they are Blue Son Goku and Blue Vegeta. So you can use a Saiyan Goku, or you can use a Son Goku and Vegeta that will count as either or, and then one of the other cards if you have it. So beginning of the turn, if you're going to go into a Vegeta, you can charge. You're going to go into a Vegito, you can charge Vegeta, tap 1, play Goku Vegeta, and then Union Potara. Or if he's still on the field from being used as a counterattack, you can, have him there with a Vegeta in the energy or Goku in the energy and just Union Potara up from there. And you're not losing a lot for getting rid of a 1-drop card. So super good. I love the synergy with this card in the deck. I think it functions better in this deck than just about any other deck, even though it is a 1-drop negate that is potentially like a faux Sensu Bean and can make your opponent waste an attack on this as opposed to going for your leader because they don't want you to get the 5k boost while it's in rest mode. So 3 of those because we love this card. Then I run 3 of the Trunks Heroic Prospect. Again, I would probably play more, but I only own 3. They are a 1-drop negate when you've got a Union on the field. Just fantastic. And plus it's a 15k body, which is heavily relevant. It might make your opponent waste things. You can edge out games with this. If your opponent, just happened to leave it on the field and you just need 1 more strike to bait out a negate or get in that last single energy. So 3 of those could easily be 4 if you have 4. Best counterplay in the game is Trunks. I've said before, not going to talk about it anymore. So 4 of those. Run 2 of the Baby Golden Avengers because we do run the Baby Unison. So these are oftentimes free for just discarding 2. Or even if you're trying to bait your opponent into making a bad play, you can start swinging with all of your energy open. Tap 5 to play one of these, then -5 on your Unison if you need to go in and have another one to, counter the counter on this card's attack. So fantastic. Love this card. Could easily also go up, but 2 has been enough considering how much the deck draws. Because it's blue and it's not SS4 Vegeta, we do run 1 Baby Hatch, one of the best secret rares in the game. Ends turns, don't sleep on it. Then lastly, we play 4 Dimension Magics. just kind of negates. I will say that I didn't put Sensu Beans in here, but after kind of testing it more, I thought that the deck would be fine considering its ramp and playstyle. But the more that I test it, the more that I want Sensu Beans in the deck as well. So I've considered taking the Dimension Magics down a little bit and trying to create room for like 3 Sensu Beans in the deck. Because there's often times that I want to make Vegito, but having to give up one of my energy only leaves me with like 3 open energy. So if I could make a Vegito and then Sensu Bean, go up to 4, I can go up to the 8-drop 1 turn sooner, which could be the difference between winning and losing the game as far as like staying on your tempo. So Dimension Magic's great. Be careful of blue hate, especially if you're playing in a best of 3 format. You don't want to walk into a position where, you know, you get caught by that. But really, the deck has so many negates, so many counterplays, so many resilient options that even blue hate doesn't hurt this deck that much, even though you do run 4 Dimension Magics. I usually end up charging 1, and then I usually end up putting them back at the bottom of the deck. So I could even make an argument for taking these out for just playing Sensu Beans. But Dimension Magic can never be understated, which is why it's here. So that is the Vegeta. I did take it off of the doorknob, which we've named Bancroft. So we're going to let him out. We're going to give him a pass for not wanting to be with his friends. So if you guys like this video, please leave a like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I've got Jimmy sitting here. Jimmy, final words?
Something about cowboys, something like that.
Something like that?
I do have a question for you, though.
Yes.
For the people that might not have access to the Goku and Vegeta promo, do you have any suggestion for what you would replace that with?
100% Sensu Beans.
Sensu Bean?
Yep. I would just take out the Goku Vegetas, play 4 Sensu Beans, and then use your charge targets a little better from that point on.
You know, they can't see the doorknob, right?
There was a doorknob there. If you choose to cut it out, that just shows that you don't want them to experience life at the fullest.
Or it shows that Fluf doesn't watch our own videos and see how the editing works.
Well, I do watch our own videos. I comment on them all the time. So if you like this profile and you think that Bancroft should leave the doorknob in, you know, let us know in the comments below. As always, read your cards, know your plays. Like always, Fluf out.